Hey everybody, welcome to a special edition of HBCU Gameday. We're going a little bit out of the box, if you will, but we're going into my wheelhouse because we are talking professional wrestling with a little bit of a twist that I think you'll enjoy right here on HBCU Gameday. Let's bring in our panel right now. This is the staff, the crew, the brain trust from Ashe Professional Wrestling. We have Darius Lockhart. He's the curator. He's the man that makes it happen. And then that guy on the far right of your screen, this is my guy. I mean, my guy. He's going to be commentating on Ashe Professional Wrestling, and it is none other than Chris Lea. I mean, the king of North Carolina. I can spend 20 minutes telling you how much I love Chris Lea, but we're here to talk wrestling. I'll kind of just let my affection for my brothers show throughout. And of course, on the left there, you see Wally Pitt. He's my man. We do not keep it popping at HBCU Gameday without Wally Pitt. So, all right, let's jump right into it. Darius Lockhart, thank you so much for joining us, man. What makes your organization so special? Because it's a little bit different when you're sitting in the audience and you're looking and you might be of the hue and persuasion of everybody you see on the screen, and you look in that ring and you say, man, I see a lot of people that look like me, and I think that's really cool.
Man, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, this is a professional wrestling, my love letter to professional wrestling. And I also get to double as a celebration of the diaspora to an extent. I want people to be able to come and see themselves beyond just, a token representative that's supposed to represent all of us. And ultimately, will always fail because that's an impossible task and a hard load, an unfair load to bear on one person. So the object is to, amplify and those numbers that are in the room. Therefore, we can amplify the characters that you see, and you can see people for who they are, their humanity, what they bring to the industry, who they are as a performer. And that's way more important than the color of their skin. But ultimately, sometimes that holds people back into the industry. So we do what we can to combat that through ownership and just, spotlighting the people who need it, who need more equity in professional wrestling.
All right, Wally, you capture all sorts of amazing things for us here at HBCU Gameday. How did you fall into this story here? You can go see the footage on our YouTube channel, on our social media. How did you come across Darius, Wally?
Oh man, Instagram. The algorithm knows I like wrestling. I'm a big fan right now of what they're doing with Dark Side of the Ring and some of the other kind of, docu wrestling stuff that's coming on. That's, they're not breaking the fourth wall, but they're kind of letting you in a little bit more while still preserving, the part of the wrestling that you love. So I just saw it on IG, and it happened to be at a time, right as football was kind of ending. I said, man, I got to come shoot that. So I don't even know who at the Ashe IG page responded to me, but we went back and forth. I ended up getting Mr. Lockhart's number, and he let me in there to shoot. Once that happens, it's, I get in there with a camera, I kind of do my thing. So, man, it was great. It was everything that, 12-year-old me was just inside, just like, oh my God, this is crazy. And honestly, I had big expectations for it, and man, it exceeded them like far and beyond. So anybody who's into wrestling, like this ain't no lower nothing. I mean, the par is right there with every wrestling that you see, and just the intent of it, you can just tell that everything is so put together and focused. And I just had a great time. So that's really how I locked in with it. And, we came in, brought them on the show, and hopefully the rest is history,
Let me tell you guys about 12-year-old me. Chris Lea works at WRAL in Raleigh, North Carolina. I mean, it is the station that motivated me, inspired me to pursue a career in broadcasting, and now he is the man there. It speaks a lot about him. But 12-year-old me in Raleigh, North Carolina, Darius, every Wednesday, the Dorton Arena there on the fairgrounds. I mean, look, I'm probably the oldest guy here. But man, I'm watching, Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, Greg Valentine, Barry Windham, Ricky Morton, Rock and Roll Express, Wahoo McDaniel, like every Wednesday. And it was really a cool thing. And, when I saw the highlights that Wally brought back, man, it gave me those same vibes of that small, intimate atmosphere. Wow. And the thing that I remember as a kid, and I would think people have this experience with your promotion as well, Darius, you get there You're like, man, that's a little ring, man. I thought that ring would be bigger. And as the show goes on, it's like that ring grows and it grows and it grows.
Yeah.
And by the end of the night, man, you don't know if you're in the Dorton Arena or Madison Square Garden because of the vibe, man.
Absolutely.
Chris, your involvement as an announcer, man, a former professional wrestler yourself. We got to get Chris Lee back in the ring and see some of those spots that he pulls off.
Ooh. Tali, I'll tell you, it's been a while since I've wrestled, and actually, the last person who pinned me was Darius Lockhart. So that's very interesting in and of itself.
Yeah, it was a loser leave town match.
Yeah, no, it's been great to be involved. Like me and Darius became friends through pro wrestling, and I just want to tell people here. A lot of what me having the success I've had on television and on radio was from watching Tali Carr growing up. So I just want to put that out there. And also, you mentioned Dorton Arena. I have a documentary coming on Dorton Arena wrestling there this summer. So we'll talk about that at some point as well. But no, it's been great to be a part of Ashe. Darius asked me to do the commentary, and it's been great so far. It's been good to have the involvement, but then also just to have this company that's representing us and to have these different stories of these men and women. I get a chance to help tell some of their stories, and I take that very seriously. I do prep well ahead of time. I don't just show up the day of and just start talking. I got to do my prep well ahead of time, have the notes and everything, because I really want these brothers and sisters to have their stories told the right way by the voices that represent them.
Well, Wally, Chris did not learn that part from me. He learned that preparation part from somebody else.
Well, by the way, I wish I would have known Wally was a wrestling fan, because we've been sharing sidelines for like the last 7 years, and we would have been talking wrestling, during timeouts.
Man. Well, now you know. Now you know. Darius, from my understanding, man, you do it all. We might be at the venue. You might sell us a T-shirt. You might be handling ticket sales. We're going to see you in the ring on the mic. And we just might, from my understanding, actually see you in the ring. Are you gonna dust off the ring rust and get back in there, man?
Yeah, well, there is no might. I'm scheduled for my first match back in almost 2 years this Saturday, February 24th at Ashe BHM, our next big event. It's a Black History Month celebration. I will be in the main event against a wrestler named Darius Carter, the Allfather, a very, very capable wrestler, but has a little bit of an ego attitude problem. So we kind of have our personal issues that we're going to try to handle Saturday, and I'm more than willing to handle them. But yeah, you will see me focus on wrestling this time around. I'll be backstage doing some of my due diligence, but less T-shirt salesman, less ticket selling this time, and more wrestling. So you'll see a lot of that in me this Saturday, whether you're watching the live stream.
It sounds like it's going to be more ass whipping this time. I mean, that's what it sounded like to me.
Absolutely.
What?
And go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was going to say, and I do want to know, it's not just ass whooping this Saturday. I mean, you get that from me. That's what I do. That's what I'm bringing to the table. But this is also just a vibe of, we have performing artist Sianka, who is local to Charlotte. This is we have DJ Steel Will from Charlotte, who does parties, and he's going to be DJing all night. Ashe is also just a party for a vibe. It is for the ultimate wrestling fan who loves pro wrestling, grew up like going to Dorton Arena, but it's also for the person who's never seen wrestling before in their life. And we hope they can come and have a good time too with their family and friends and whoever they want to bring, because it's just a party atmosphere and it's a good time.
I mean, it is such a great event for kids. I got some free tickets the other week. We had SmackDown was here in Atlanta, and I took my girls. They had never been, and man, they had the absolute time of their life. Darius, I'm curious, what is your plan? Like where do you see your organization going? Where would you like it to be? Because wrestling has changed so much over the years. It used to be such a regional, territorial thing, and each region had its different flavor. And now wrestling is probably bigger than it's ever been from a media standpoint, but it's more, there's of course the big giant in the room. So for guys like you that are working hard and on the grind, where do you see your organization headed?
I try not to speak too publicly on those things, just because it allows people to project onto your vision. And also kind of, it just gets a little bit too many cooks type situation. People can throw whatever they want on you. So I try not to set an expectation that if the course changes, we won't have to be stuck to that. But ultimately, I do think that this is something that provides accessibility both to the performer and to the audience, where people can, come to a show in Charlotte and be up close to professional wrestling. I'm bringing people from all over the world to be here in Charlotte, so we're bringing that to them, and we're also building a team that's always going to be able to give a hand up to anybody on the show. Chris himself being, an experienced commentator, now he's helps the next person who's commentating next to him. They're former WWE referees who work with us, and now they're able to pass that knowledge on to independent referees, and then we can keep it going. So really, my focus is more so on a hand up, a handout, accessibility to the performer, and giving people the opportunities that they need and want and desire, and help them, realize their dreams. How big this gets is how big this gets. I let that higher power decide that. But all I want to do is show up and make the work happen and continue to create and tell good stories and create some good times and fun events and expose people to wrestling. People who haven't watched it in a long time and realize they can have a good time enjoying this beautiful sport that I love so much.
Chris, you had a pretty cool moment the other week. You had a chance to work alongside somebody that you really got a kick out of, right?
Yeah, D'Lo Brown, and one of the cool things was, at the first Ashe show, one of the performers came out to the swag surfing song, and you guys see it at different HBCUs, and of course it's made its way to PWIs as of late. But I had a chance to swag surf with D'Lo Brown, and I thought that was really cool, and that was the moment that it really hit me that. I knew what was Darius's vision. I knew that he wanted to bring this new flavor to pro wrestling that you wouldn't see normally. But it was at that moment that it hit me that this is the HBCU of pro wrestling, right? And we haven't had that presentation yet in professional wrestling, and we haven't had that type of angle slant to it. And so I love the fact that we can do that, and everybody has fun and everybody feels included and secure. And that was the cool thing about it. And it's not just a black crowd. I mean, there was a lot of white folks there having fun who want to come back, and they've bought tickets already, and they're going to be back we've been on shows with folks who have these podcasts, and they're white and they're excited for the next show. They talk about how much fun they've had. And so, we love the fact that we can take some of the love that we see at homecoming at Winston-Salem State or at A&T or, at FAMU or whatever, and we can, harness that into also professional wrestling and show folks, kind of what we can bring to the table. And it's absolutely an amazing time. I love being next to D'Lo Brown, but I also love being next to people who are having fun.
Absolutely. It's crazy when you get white folks excited for a Black History Month celebration. That's beautiful.
Well, look.
And I feel like wrestling's one of those only spaces. That was one thing I noticed when I was there was, wrestling already kind of has that ingrained where, some of that stuff has always been on the forefront of wrestling. Wrestling will have Rap is Crap versus The Nation. And, a lot of that first ice is already broken. So that was one thing I loved about the show, man. It was everybody from every race, and nobody was really nobody came into it like, let's see what this black wrestling thing is about. They came into it like, this black wrestling thing about to be good. You know what I mean? So it was dope, and I loved it. So I second that for sure.
Yeah, that's the beauty of wrestling, man. Quick story. Me and my stepdad used to go to wrestling every Wednesday. He would take me. And, growing up, he's my stepdad. We had a contentious relationship from time to time, but the best part of our relationship was that every Wednesday night at wrestling. So whatever the stepkid had done to tick him off during the week or whatever he had done that I thought was stupid during the week, we put all that aside, man, and it was time for wrestling. That was our time to bond, man. And I really think, there are those type of stories amongst family elements, friend elements throughout the country, man. It's just something special about that event that you can lose yourself. Chris, what will we expect in this Darius versus Darius matchup? What are you anticipating?
Man, so I've been blessed to have this front row seat to see how everything kind of unfolded. And it first started off with this great gesture that Darius Lockhart had to donate $2,500 back to the middle school that he attended in Charlotte, Piedmont Open IB Middle School. Mr. Milligan and a young kid named Aiden, who's a student at the school, was there. And then it was this beautiful moment where Darius Lockhart was announcing he's coming back to pro wrestling. He's coming back to Ashe. And one of his good friends, Billy Dixon, came out and he's like, "Hey, I'm coming back to pro wrestling. I'd love to also go against you as friends. And this is our way of coming back." And all of that was interrupted by Darius Carter. Now, Darius Carter is an amazing professional wrestler. He's made a great name of himself. Also, I think that he doesn't get enough credit for the things that he's done, but also think that moment wasn't the right moment to interrupt. And so he comes in, he interrupts, and then later on, he pushes Mr. Milligan in his matchup. Mr. Milligan is just customer sitting there ringside, letting his voice be heard like every other fan does. And he pushes him and hurt his leg. Then also cheats to win against a former world champion, Jonathan Gresham. And so, with Darius, I know that Darius is kind of stewing right there as you're looking at him, right? You can see it in his face. This is his first event, right? And he doesn't want to have anybody hurt. And he invited the folks from that school there to receive that money, to have that blessing, to be able to go back and give back to the kids in a way, and to also just have great entertainment and sportsmanship. And it's not sportsmanship if one of the professional wrestlers puts his hands on a fan. And so from a liability standpoint, from a business standpoint, that was a very dangerous situation. And I don't want to speak for Darius, but I can see, just like from my point of view, how that can make him angry at his first show. And he hasn't had a chance to come back on his own terms yet. So now it's like, all right, I have to come back now against you instead of this big grand comeback with one of my good friends. And so that's kind of where we're at. Those two are kind of at odds with one another. Darius Carter, again, a really good professional wrestler. He's a throwback. I mean, the man says he's influenced by Nick Bockwinkel. How many new wrestlers say things like that right now? You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely a throwback, and he's one of those guys that you'll enjoy watching in the ring, but you might also enjoy watching him get beat. And we'll see what happens on Saturday if he'll end up getting beat against Darius Lockhart, who I'm excited to see, who's one of my good friends from back when I was wrestling.
All right, so look, guys, don't be mad. But I am a journalist. Yeah, I am a journalist. So whenever we present these stories, we have to have both sides of the argument. I just stay in the middle. So Chris, Darius Lockhart, don't get mad, but we have a guest here. We're bringing in Darius Carter. We've heard Chris' side of the story. We've heard it from Lockhart's perspective. Now we have Darius Carter. Guys, I'll let you take it, but I want to hear both sides of this story here.
What's up, Mr. Carter?
First off, for me to be disparaged on this great program, HBCU Gameday, and my name to be disparaged before I even show up, before I'm even here, that's not acceptable. That's not professional, right? Darius, number 2 over there, already starting with the quick comments about ego and attitude problems, having to check me. This is not how you introduce me to a program and into such a new viewership, a new program like this. It's not okay. Okay, I am Darius Carter. I am wrestling's richest prize. I am the All Father, and I am your opponent, Darius number 2. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Now, are you introducing yourself as Darius number 2? Was that part of your intro?
No. You are.
No. You got to stop with this Darius number 2 thing. We gave you credit where credit is due. Chris kissed your ass a little bit with the whole "you're a nice pro wrestler." You are a good pro wrestler, Darius, and we gave you your credit. But the thing is, we're not disparaging your character. We're holding you accountable. Because what Chris has said is exactly right. You put us in a position. You put me in a position, and now you about to get yourself in a position that you might not want to be in.
Okay, guys, let's reel this in just a little bit. Tali, if you don't mind, I'll kind of stay in the middle right here.
It's yours.
Kind of mediate between the two, just as much as I can. And Darius Carter, I know that you may feel attacked in a way, Me and Darius Lockhart are friends. We go back. We used to wrestle together, but I will stay in the middle and mediate between you two. Okay, is that cool? Is that fair?
Can you be in the middle?
I can.
Because it seems like you and everybody associated with this program, with this whole situation, is trying to veer on his side. That's what it seems like, a whole shift.
Mr. Carter, you remember beforehand on Ashe's YouTube page, I've done interviews with both of you guys. You both had the same amount of time, and I made sure you guys had ample amount of time to talk about your side. So let's do it right here. Since you guys are both together, I'm going to give you the floor, Darius Carter, okay? When Darius Lockhart was in the ring back on December 1st to give money to the school, what made you want to come in that moment to interrupt that beautiful moment where he was giving $2,500 to his school and ultimately pushing the teacher that he gave that check to?
See, but there it is right there. It's already biased because you're talking about a beautiful moment. I interrupted a beautiful moment. Beautiful moment is a perspective. Maybe not everybody saw that as a beautiful moment. Maybe I didn't see that as a beautiful moment. Why? Because that could have been done in the locker room. You could have done that in the back. To me, it was Darius Lockhart using that moment to amplify his return to professional wrestling. For me, it was Darius Lockhart saying, let me come in the ring on my show. Let me give this person a certificate. Let's give him a check and then announce my match. And then Billy Dixon comes out, who also had quit. Another quitter. See, these are two things where we're not getting the full aspect of this picture here. We're not getting the total picture. Darius Lockhart left. Oh, here we go. He's going to interrupt me. There it is.
Oh, quick let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish. We'll get to you, Darius. Darius Carter, go ahead and finish.
Darius Lockhart said himself he hasn't wrestled in 2 years. Why was that? Wasn't because he was hurt. Wasn't because he was injured or taking a sabbatical. He left because he quit. He quit the business for nearly 2 years. He comes back. All this pomp and circumstance, everyone is forgetting this. Everyone's cheering for him. It's okay that he did this, giving this teacher a check to elevate that. And then Billy Dixon comes out there and he's about to accept a match against Billy Dixon, who also had quit the business when I made him quit in a professional wrestling match that was meant to be his last match. That man said that is going to be my last professional wrestling match, June 17th, 2022, and he has lied. That has not been the case since then. So when two people are in the ring lying to each other and making it look like this great gesture, giving this teacher a check, all of that was wrong. The message was wrong. It was all lies. It was all deceit. And that's why I came out there to bring truth to the situation. That's all that was. And we're talking about a beautiful moment. Nothing beautiful about it.
We have to make sure Darius Lockhart has his opportunity. He called you a quitter, Darius. What is your response to that?
I've never in my life said the words quit. Darius Lockhart never tweeted quit. He never Instagram quit. He never said on the microphone quit. I left without a word to any of you because I don't owe you anything. No explanation. I needed to feed myself and my soul. I always intended to come back to pro wrestling. Always. It is my first love. It is my only love. I'm telling you this right now. To say that I quit is disingenuous. That's lying. That's a defamation. What you and Billy have going on, hold that man accountable. That's fine. But what I see is an opportunity to come back, to give my light, the excitement that people have to see me back in the ring again, and spread it on to all of you guys, to make you guys a part of said moment with me. The entire show is not just my moment, it's our moment. And I gave you one of your moments, Carter. I see the potential in you. You had a moment with Jonathan Gresham and you beat a world champion. That was your moment. But it was your decision to tarnish said moment with selfishness. It was your decision to tarnish that moment with nefarious tactics. It was your decision to tarnish those moments with all these asterisks next to your names. Your win has an asterisk. You talking to me the way you do has an asterisk because you're not telling truth. You're telling lies. So now at this point, it was already a matter of principle. Now it's a matter of emotionality. Now I really want to kick your ass. So respectfully, you can't just keep lying to Chris Lee and the world like this, especially HBCU Game Day. I just won't allow you to just sit there and ship perspective like that.
Just really quick, guys, before we hand it back over to Tali, I just wanted to make sure, like, you guys are both professional wrestlers, really talented at what you're doing. I would love the fact that you guys were able to get along, but you clearly can't. One of the things, Darius Carter, you said against Darius Lockhart is you feel like the culture crowned him and he dropped the ball. I want you to, right here in front of Darius's face, right here on HBCU Game Day, something that does represent the culture, right? Explain what you meant by that the culture crowned him and he dropped the ball. Does that mean that you can pick up that same ball and carry it further than him?
I could have carried it the entire time, and that's the point that I've been making. See, Darius Lockhart was given that ball. Everybody likes him. He's a likable guy, and I understand that. And I've never disparaged him or discredited the work that he's doing behind the scenes. I've never discredited the work that he's done in the community. That's not what we're talking about, all right? We're talking about a man saying that he's going to come back and make his grand return, and he's going to keep me in check. And that's where we have the issue. If he was just saying, I'm coming back and having this professional wrestling match, so be it. But we're not even, let's not even get that far, right? Because we're going to keep this on the prospect of, we're going to keep this on the premise of the culture and how he dropped the ball. Because everybody was pushing for Darius Lockhart. That's how we saw those appearances on NWA. Everybody clamoring behind this man. He had the crowd in his hands. Respectfully, he did. But this is what I mean. He said it himself. He didn't feel like he owed anybody an explanation. He took his ball and ran, left the culture wondering, who are they going to look to? Looked past me, looked through me as if I wasn't in the room, as if I wasn't sitting here working, grinding, blood, sweat, tears, sleepless nights, hours upon days upon weeks, committing myself to the craft. You said it yourself, Chris Lee, that I don't get the credit that I deserve, and it's a bona fide fact. Only within the past few years of the PWI mentions and winning the 2022 Super 8 and holding championships up for all these promotions were people giving me the just due. But Darius Lockhart got it many, many years ago. And he took that ball and he dropped it and he left it there. Didn't even pass it to somebody, didn't give somebody the assist. So then he comes back here, is handing out checks on his show talking about a return. How does no one see the hypocrisy in this? He had the opportunity to make those moves years ago. He was on NWA.
Listen,
and he dropped the ball and he left.
If I have to be gone, if I have to leave for you to get a wave, then you need to get the hell off the beach.
Oh,
you understand?
please. Don't make this,
No. Because listen, because that's the issue. You say the culture was given to me and they gave me all these things. Yes, people were supporting me. But people don't know what it's like in those rooms when you get there and in the top of the promotion, the people who make the decisions, the people who decide to get to be on the flyer, well, they don't want it to look like me. When the people choose me, the people have always chosen me. That's not new to me. But these industry standards, they don't choose us, and you know that. That's why we make Ashe, because they looked over you. You're right. You were one of the most overlooked wrestlers I've ever noticed in my life. You're one of the most overlooked wrestlers. You're very talented, but no one's going to give you anything. And no one gave me anything in this industry. I had to work for it. And those people responded and saw that I had to work for it. Those doors weren't meant for me to open. A tweet got me there. Hundreds of people tweeting, saying we want Darius Lockhart got me there. You have to make them want you. And you being upset that the culture didn't choose you over me, spilt milk, cry me a river. You're a child. Grow up.
Mr. Carter, I just got to ask you this one question before we hand it back. You mentioned those things. Are you jealous of the things that Darius Lockhart was able to accomplish before he took his sabbatical from pro wrestling?
Well, see, but where did that come up anywhere in the conversation? Where was that a topic?
This is just a question I'm asking.
Talking about that. I'm not talking about his accolades before then. Nobody's comparing. We're not comparing accolades. I'm talking about the man being put on the pedestal, and then he walked off and he left.
That could be something that you could be jealous of.
I walked away from people telling me that there was a ceiling for me, and it was a floor I didn't even want to walk on. You understand what I'm saying to you? I walked away so we can come back and make Ashe. That's what I left to do. I left to go get my resources to get myself together so we can create something like this because they aren't going to give it to us. What do you not understand? The people, what did I walk away from, Carter? Ask yourself, what did I really walk away from?
It's the hypocrisy of it all. All of it. Hypocritical. The point is, Darius, you had your chance. You had your time. It's a wrap. And now this is what you do now. This is what you're meant to do. You're meant to curate shows. You're meant to put on professional wrestlers like me, just like Billy Dixon. Billy Dixon with Pro Wrestling Vibe, with Paris is Bumping. That's the role he should be in, and that's the role you should be in at this point, sir. You should be sitting in the back helping put these shows together and spotlighting professional wrestlers like me. You shouldn't be on an Ashe show, sir. You should be running the show. You should be curating the show. That's what should be happening.
Well, guess what? I am going to be on Ashe show against you this Saturday. Like you said, everyone knows.
Unfortunately for you.
February 24th. No. Unfortunately for you. Yeah. But fortunately for these fans, they get to witness an ass whooping of a lifetime. Because Saturday, the 24th at Piedmont, here in Charlotte, you're going to come to my territory. You're going to realize the mistake you made. That's what you're going to realize.
All right, guys, let me cut in right quick. Let's bring Tolly back in because I don't want to sully this program at all. Let's try to sell some tickets. I see you taking off the jacket, Darius. This Saturday at Piedmont Open Ivy Middle School, Ashe Wrestling, AsheWrestling.com. Go get your tickets. This is one of two main events. Darius Carter, the Allfather, versus the intergalactic soul, Darius Lockhart. And this one's basically all about pride. This one's all about right versus wrong, good versus evil, and whichever side you choose on either of those parts, right? Because Darius Carter, I see your face. You feel like you're right. You feel like you're good. You feel like the other side is evil. So whichever side you choose, right? I wasn't placing any place on that. All right. So let's bring Tolly back in here because this is the main event. I just want to make sure I don't mess up this program anymore because I'm sure that he's never had two coaches go back and forth like this on the show.
Well, there was a little thing at Alabama State one time. But anyway.
Yeah, okay.
That was a thing. We should have had them on the card as well. Well, look, guys, don't follow children. Don't follow animals. Don't follow Chris Lee and don't follow Darius. You guys left it all on the table. The culture will decide this Saturday, Charlotte. We're going to have the description down below if you want to check it out, if you want to check out the stream, if you want to buy tickets and get there. Chris Lee will be on the call. Gentlemen, I will leave it at a big thank you for joining us here on HBCU Game Day. Darius Carter, Darius Lockhart, Chris Lee, Ashe Professional Wrestling. It's going to be a good one this weekend in Charlotte. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tolly.